It has been a long time since I have filmed any of the videos for this channel in my car, but I just got back from a cinematic experience unlike any I've had in years. Years. I just got back from Spider-Man Homecoming, and this will be a spoiler-free review, so don't freak out. You can watch this if you haven't seen the movie yet. First and foremost, before I tell you anything else, there are two bonus scenes during the credits. One is in the middle and one is right at the very end. Absolutely worth staying until the end, and kudos to everyone who has already seen it for not giving it away. I thought it was phenomenal. Probably my favorite Marvel bonus scene that I've seen so far. Okay, now for the movie itself, Tom Holland absolutely nailed this role. I thought he was phenomenal. He was the best Peter Parker I've seen on film ever. I also think that this is hands down the best Spider-Man movie we've ever gotten. And I think it's easily one of the best Marvel films we've ever gotten. So I know I'm sounding like overly gushing, and some of this, I admit, is the afterglow of having just finished this movie, but this is well worth your time. And I think it's worth seeing in the theater as well. I heard the KSL movie show, Doug Wright, talking about this movie. Everybody was giving it raving reviews. He gave it 4 stars. He said he was going to give it 3.5. And then he asked himself, well, why? What's holding me back from giving it 4? I'll tell you the one thing that holds me back from giving it an all out, like this movie was phenomenal type review. And that was that it started to feel long. I don't care if movies are long, but if they start to feel long, then that's a problem of editing. That's a problem of pacing. There was something a little bit off in the middle where I started to think, okay, where are they going with this? Right? There's even a moment in the movie where you're like, okay, this could end right now. Like they could wrap this up in like a quick 2 to 3 minute scene, and that could be the end of the movie. And then it just keeps going from there. So I think that's maybe a downside. It could have been a little bit tighter. But my favorite element of this is I laughed through the entire thing. Legitimate laughs, not the pity laugh, the courtesy laugh where the writers expect the audience to laugh. This was one where everyone in the theater was legitimately laughing out loud. And it takes a lot to get me to be that emotionally invested in something, because I see it, yeah, this is a movie. It's just a movie. These are just actors. I start thinking about the production qualities of like, oh, wow, that's a cool camera angle and things. Part of that is my broadcast background. So for me to be that sucked into a movie and to laugh naturally at all the different points where there were clear humor points, I think that is where this movie excels. It takes kind of the spirit of Ant-Man and the good pacing, other than the slow part I was talking about, but the good action and acting of a movie more like Captain America: Winter Soldier, which I still think is probably the best Marvel movie ever. Okay, key points for those of you who care. So Tom Holland, excellent job. I've already covered that. Michael Keaton, phenomenal. Not my favorite role for him. I think my favorite role for him is still in Much Ado About Nothing. He was phenomenal in that. But he was excellent in this movie. He's such a good bad guy. He's so believable. Marissa Tomei as Aunt May, it was a little bit underwhelming. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, finally we get an attractive Aunt May and she's young and what. I didn't have any problem with the one from the Tobey Maguire era, like an older Aunt May. That's how I've always pictured her, kind of a defenseless older woman. Like a grandma type almost. So Marissa Tomei, I felt like was underutilized in this movie. She wasn't a strong character. She was almost just there. So she would appeal maybe to the older generation, who knew her in her prime of her movie making. But I think this was a triumph for Michael Keaton for sure. Tom Holland, his breakout performance obviously was in Civil War, but if you liked his, Spider-Man cameo in Civil War, this just ratchets that up to a whole new level. I think he's phenomenal, and I hope to see way more from him moving forward. just overall the supporting cast did a great job. I think, visually there were some times where it started to get a little tiresome. Some of the action scenes where they're flying around in the air and things are blowing up and whatever. That was the reminder, the nod to, hey, this is a Marvel movie after all. But, I think it's a solid, if it's out of 4 stars, it's a solid 3.5. That was a phenomenally well done movie. Lots of natural comedy in it. Had the true high school element, but a lot of that was rooted in kind of the 80s, the heyday of the Spider-Man comics and cartoons and things. So anyone who is in my generation who kind of grew up with that is going to love this movie. There are a lot of throwbacks to 80s culture. There's a Ferris Bueller montage, basically. A lot of little hidden gems in this one. So go check it out. If you haven't seen it yet, I know it's only been out for a week, but go see it. Worth seeing in the theater, especially on a $5 Tuesday like I just did, even though I'm going to be so tired tomorrow. Okay, subscribe to this channel. Check out the other videos I've made on this channel. And leave your comments in the section below. Have you seen this movie? Did you like it? What was your favorite part? Try to avoid spoilers for my viewers who haven't seen it yet. Thanks.